It's the Essence House After Show! Yeah!
Welcome to the Essence House After Show. My name is Jess. I'll be your host tonight, and joining me are the creators of the Essence House, Eric Cockrell.
Hey.
And Chuck Pino.
What's up, everybody?
Tonight we're going to be talking about Chapter 6, The Family Tie That Binds. Great episode, guys. I feel like the train is going now. And things are being revealed. Who wants to give me a little bit of a summary of the episode?
Oh, do you want to do that one?
Straws. All right. So the episode starts off in 1893 at the Chicago World's Fair.
Oh.
And, so it's Roland, Grandpa Roland, and little Tim and little Tristan rolling around the fair. We touch on Tim's headaches even back when he was younger. And they just stroll through the fair. It's just a good family time back when they were kids. And they see like the Ferris wheel, and they start off with in the machinery hall where all the engines are running and stuff. And then that transitions to them driving past the fair site where the Museum of Science and Industry sits now in Chicago on their way into town. So it's our first time that we're not in New York.
Nice. So I wanted to talk about a little bit because I caught your guys' Facebook Live this week, and Eric kind of started talking a little bit about why he chose the World's Fair. Eric, can you tell us a little bit about your fascination with the World's Fair?
Sure. I don't know exactly where it came from. I mean, it's a really cool event. Like, I don't have any slides of like the actual event, but I started collecting souvenirs from it, like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. And so I took some pictures before the show started so I could show off a little bit of the collection since we had just talked about it. So this is a ticket from Chicago Day at the World's Fair, which was October 9th, 1893.
1893. That is a whole piece of paper.
Yeah, and it's really good condition. So somebody actually like handed that ticket to somebody like 30 years ago or whatever. Like, and they tore off the one end and handed it back, and they got to go into the fair. It's kind of cool.
Isn't that crazy? It's in really good condition.
So this is a guidebook. It's kind of like a little, when you buy like a paperback book, like it's that size, and it's pretty thick, but it goes like exhibit by exhibit, building by building a bit, and like gives a lot of details about everything. So it's a pretty cool one.
Have you looked through it yourself? I mean, or you just kind of leave it so it stays intact?
It's been probably 20 years since I've actually flipped through it, but it's a cool book. Tons of information.
Very cool.
Now that I think about it, when I was writing this story, I did a lot of like going online and pulling up blog articles and things to like find information about what I was writing about. I could have just
the book right there.
Sitting right there. Jesus.
So, all right. So then this is a shot glass from the fair.
So that is an old shot glass.
Yep.
Tell me you've drank from that at least once.
I haven't. And you know what? I don't know what the hell this red stuff is.
Back then.
What if this is not safe to drink from? I don't know.
It's like made out of, it's like a lead glass or something.
Right.
So that thing, I don't know anything about that particular glass, but my mom had a bunch of glasses made of that kind of red glass.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I went up to her house back in like 2013, and she had a bunch of those, and she was kind of talking about the things that people wanted taken aside for her will and whatnot. And I said, you know what? every time I go into a house that you have owned, I see those red glasses in your china cabinet, and I know they're not worth anything or anything, but it reminds me of you. So I would like those.
Aw.
And she said, well, do you want to know a secret about them? And I said, yeah, okay. She said, those glasses used to come in old detergent containers.
What?
Oh.
And they were used to scoop the detergent. And she said, I collected them, but it turns out that they're like $50 a pop. So there's like $700 worth of these glasses sitting in her thing. I was like, oh, well, I mean, I wanted them when they weren't worth anything, but I still damn well want them.
Now you're like, I really want those things.
Yeah. So I think I have drank out of them before. So
you're
alive.
I mean, yeah, I don't have anything bad at the moment.
You can call that a life, but
ooh.
So this is actually just a picture that I have in my display case of I think it's the administration building.
Wow.
But yeah, these are all people. I think this is actually a picture from Chicago Day. So it sits behind my ticket. This picture is a little bit out of focus. It's this was actually a commemorative plate that was put out 100 years later by Anheuser-Busch, but it was really cool, so I had to get it.
Very cool.
And then Cracker Jack was actually invented for the World's Fair, so they did a commemorative container, like at the Centennial, so in 1993.
That is really cool.
Yeah, so they got the Ferris wheel cart here, and then yeah, it's a cool one. This is actually a beer tap.
Wow!
And I could not pass on that when I saw that because I do like to partake in some beverages, and so that one appealed to me.
Wow, that's really cool. Pickle.
And this also, actually, I just bought this like at Walmart. It was. This is actually from it's actually like it's not even the Chicago World's Fair, but it was just a cool looking container.
You're like, this oatmeal, I'm just gonna add it. Okay, so let's see. It's
and this is actually a brick. Like it was a commemorative brick.
Yeah, you can see what it says.
Yeah, so it's like 1893 World's Fair. And then it's like I don't know if it's a metal company or what the company was that was selling these, but yeah. So that's pretty much it. Like I have some stuff from our 1933 World's Fair too, but that's my favorite right there.
I don't know much about the World's Fair. Like, why did they stop doing it?
They still do them.
Will they still do it?
They're just not as big.
Correct.
Yeah, back then, farmers and people would travel from like across the country. People would fly in from other countries to see the stuff around the world. Now we just type in www and go look at things. So.
So it's funny. My wife, one of her favorite things in the world to do is to catch mistakes, and it's like it's not even an editor's thing. It's like she just likes to catch that you're wrong. Like she'll see it in a movie. She's like, oh, "There's a continuity error," and I'm like, "Oh, what'd you find this time?"
A great video.
And we'll go back and so she starts listening to this new episode, and she stops it right away, and she goes, "Oh, you guys screwed up!" And I said, "Where? What did we do?"
Yeah,
she goes, 1893. I was like, "Yeah, keep listening." She's like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Yeah, keep listening."
Like, that's right.
She's like, "Holy crap! What's going on?" I was like, "There you go, girl. Keep going."
Actually, you kind of did that to me when I sent you that part. Because you were like, the house does it. I was like, oh, I know.
Yeah. And then I kept reading, and then I was like, oh, okay. I see what you did there. Good job. Well, and this is now I'm finally allowed to say it. The walking stick. Holy crap. The walking stick was not something that was in our original idea at all.
Oh.
And in fact, he brought it. He sent me that thing from 1893, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. He's like, don't worry. I remember him saying it exactly, pretty much. He said, look, if I explain it to you, you're gonna shoot it down. So let me just write it. And then if it sucks, you can tell me it sucks. And I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, go ahead. So he wrote it. And then I read it all. And I was like, no, okay, you're right. If you just said, there's a magic walking stick, I would have been like, you're on fucking drugs, dude. No.
You're like, let me give you context of the magical walking stick. Hold on.
But it all coming together. And immediately I jumped on pretty quick. I was like, oh, dude, so this is how it could work. Blah, blah, blah. Like, we just got really excited. So that was not in the original idea. And actually, the walking stick has really helped to develop how we've moved forward in the next 4 episodes and beyond.
Yeah.
Actually, the walking stick's a big part of the next episode, 7.
Because in this episode, we find out what Elise knows, and that's where we find out she has the walking stick. And we also have an emotional moment there where she's telling Tim about it, and Tim's like, you could see our parents this whole time?
Yeah.
And to me, that really stuck out because, you know, I have siblings, and I'm like, how would I feel, you know? And then you realize, you know, she's got her children and she wants to give her children what they had.
Yeah.
And then, if anything, telling somebody else could blow it for everybody.
Yeah. And her children can't visit their grandparents anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really great. It's a good moment. It you know, it touched me. And, but then it kind of opens up the whole, well, there's this walking stick now. Now we know why Grandpa had it at the World's Fair. Now we know, like, Elise knows a lot more than she did before.
She does. She's quite in the Well, she makes the point, too, that the time travel stuff wasn't a family secret until that accident happened.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah, and I like that, too. That wasn't really something necessarily that we had discussed, though it's like one of those obvious things that you know it's true, but you haven't really talked about it. And then when you brought it up there, I was like, yeah, of course, this wasn't, it only became a secret recently.
Yeah. Like, even even Tim, you know, he goes into everything not really understanding the power of the essence, and he doesn't really understand the time travel stuff, but he was a little kid, so it wasn't like anything special to him when he was a kid.
Yeah.
It was just the norm.
Yeah, because they grew up like that. They were traveling. They didn't know, but now that they know. But it's interesting, too. I think we already talked about the headache thing, though. We already talked about his headaches from being a child, and now. Hold on.
We brought it up real quick, yeah.
So, I guess, so then... Maybe skip the headache thing. Is there anything you can share about the headache thing that happens to Tim when he time travels?
Episode 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, like seriously, episode 7 really goes into that stuff really well. I think when it's done, you'll be like, oh, okay, I have a much better. With the headache thing, I think a lot of that is just like your body reacts to different things in different ways, and that's just kind of something that he sort of has to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly the severity that time travel has dealt on him, 7 really steps that up and really explains it.
There's a moment in 7 that I know we're jumping ahead by talking about the next episode, but there's a moment that I'm really excited for people to hear. I think it's really going to be a cool moment.
I'd like to hear the moment.
You know, it's funny. One of my favorite things is, like, I used to, I was a huge Lost fan. And when it was out, I would, read their tweets. I wasn't even on Twitter, but I would check out their tweets, and they would always say these random things that meant nothing until you watch the episode. And so I loved hearing the weird, like, I remember one time they were like, oh man, this episode, frozen donkey wheel for the win. And you're like, frozen donkey wheel? What the hell are they talking about? Then you watch the episode and you're like, holy crap, that's huge. So, like, I love dropping those kinds of hints where it's like, it makes no sense. And then you watch it and you're like, oh, damn. Oh, that's so cool.
It's going to be a cool moment.
So are you guys gonna drop that for the next? You're gonna drop like
I don't know what moment he's talking about. I'm really happy with the whole thing.
Oh.
So I don't know if he can do it, but I don't know which moment he's talking about.
It ties back to something that happened in episode 4, and it has to do with the walking stick.
Ooh.
You know which one that
Are we talking? Are we talking about the alley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm with the people who are watching right now. We're not really sure what these two are talking about, but we'll find
It'll be
They're
in
talking in code.
out.
1 week, you'll be sure.
Yeah, 1 week you guys will be able to know, and then you'll be like, "Oh, the alley."
Yeah, see, then we could be like the alley, but right now it's like
Alley.
alley. Yeah.
So as far as the rest of the episode, Tim is at the house talking to her, and then they have that conversation, and then he talks to Tristan. They have a little bit of a heart-to-heart. Tristan is frantically looking for information about Jessica, and he can't find anything past 1995.
Yeah, it was funny today. Eric was like, "Hey, are these the main points of this episode?" He wrote down a couple things, and I was like, "Yes." And Jessica doesn't exist, and he was like, "Right."
They don't exist. Oh man.
That was 1 point, and then they get the text at the end.
The text.
What do you think about the text?
I think that brings us back into the mean the mean cliffhanger area. We're back in there again. We're doing that again.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the cliffhangers. Do you want to talk about the text at all?
Yeah, I think we should. The text.
Yeah.
The text, I mean, this is a spoiler show. The episode's out there.
Yep.
I wish I had the text of the text in front of me, but basically, it's Barnabas telling Tim that he's ready to talk to him, and he has information. And that he mentions that he was the one that left the note at the hospital. But also at the very end, it's signed EGB, which a keen ear would potentially remember from episode 1. There was a text message to the dress shop lady signed EGB.
I had so much fun. So I think we've talked about this before, guys, but usually right after this episode, the three of us, because we love each other, this isn't just for show, and we'll chat. And Eric and I, our favorite thing is showing Jess the next episode. So she knows nothing about episode 7 right now, guys, but in about an hour, we might end up showing her the next episode or letting her listen to it. And so we did that last time. We showed her episode 6, and she's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And so she listened to it, and then she's like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you've heard EGB before." And she's like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean?" So I had to go all the way back and
We went back.
What? And then, and then she's like, "What does EGB stand for?" And so then, I'm like, "Well, that's gonna come up. Like, you're gonna have to find that out."
And that comes up in episode 7, right?
Essence.
I don't think we necessarily say, but I think that you could.
No, I believe we do say what EGB stands for.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Essence.
You're gonna find out soon, in about an hour.
Essence. Fine. Fine. I do realize. I think we did have some. Do we have a couple comments and questions we can talk about?
Something about how interesting of a character Elise was, I believe.
Oh yes, there is a question here. I believe it. Do you want me to say who it's from?
Sure.
Yeah, it's from Sean Barber, and he says, "I need to know how hot Elise is." LOL.
Now, if you want to know
Then I
why,
need to update my dating profile.
if you
Also,
want to know why Sean wants to know about Elise, it's because we actually named Elise's husband after Sean Barber.
Yeah.
So Elise is Elise Barber. It was a fun nod to our buddy Sean.
that's cool.
Now, let me just say that no matter how hot Elise is, you married up, dude.
I don't know.
I think he'll like that.
He's such a good sport. He'll love that.
So Kyron said this had been answered though. It says,
Hi, Kyron.
"Hi Kyron, is Grandma Silva on Tim's mom or dad's side?"
So that's on Tim's mom's side.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's not related to Tristan.
Not related to the Essence house.
Yes.
So I thought it would be fun to, go back and maybe touch on, see if there's any old questions we can touch on that we can answer now that we weren't able to answer prior.
Yeah.
Good.
We have a question from Kyron from earlier in the season. He says, "How did this time travel-y portal come to be in the first place?"
We definitely haven't. That hasn't been in the story yet.
Wow.
And I don't think. I don't know. It'll be quite a while before we get to I think the very origins of it. But you do kind of find out where the Essence House, where that kind of all in New York and everything kind of started. So I think by the end of this initial story, so I can say that I think you'll get a satisfactory answer, but I don't have one for you right now.
We'll find then.
Yeah. Definitely as the season, especially the end of the season, you'll have a much better idea of what's going on with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, hold on, So this is another question.
Although there was actually in this latest episode, it is noted that the Essence House moved at some point.
Yes.
That did come up between Tim and Elise. So I don't have anything to add to that, but
okay, I was going to say, so it's a pickle. Gambit. So
when I say that you'll find the origins of the Essence House in New York, that's mostly what we end up getting to as far as origins go, I think.
So it's not like the location because the house has been moved and still has this ability or property to it.
Potentially.
Well, fine then. So
I gave you a pretty good answer.
That's a good answer. I accept.
Better answer than I did when you asked it in the week one.
Week one, it was like pulling teeth. It was like, did we know anything? Not really. So I want to go back to why do the Edmonds share a birthday? What is so special about January 1st, and how far does that go back?
For the Edmonds, how far does that go back?
I don't know that we can answer it necessarily. Yeah. I mean, I think I know. But the thing about that one, again, that's going to be answered moving forward. I don't even know if that'll come up this season.
I honestly think that in the finale, at least what I have had in my head, and I know I talked to Chuck about it at one point, but I think in the finale of season 2, I kind of have a scene that kind of brings that home a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a while.
I think by the end of season 2, that should be answered. I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just have a little bit of a more question on that. You can try to answer it or you can try to not.
Shoot.
Okay. Is it does the birthday have to do with the ability to travel?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Would it be fair to say it's a byproduct almost?
Yeah, maybe.
something more along those lines.
I wouldn't say it's like completely not tied, like or connected in some way, but
yeah, there's certainly a connection, but yeah. So it's not like everyone whose birthday is on January 1st, they can time travel.
Or I mean, or in the Edmund family, do you have to have the birthday of the first, or that doesn't matter?
they all seem to so far. Everybody whose birthday you know.
Yeah, because we don't know the birthday of because Elise has other children. We don't know their birthday.
You know.
I don't. You might. And maybe it's January 1st.
He did say, like most of his family and a lot of people. So
yes. I know. I remember that stuck out to me a lot, and I've been like on this for a while. Come on, tell me about the birthdays.
Well, you'll find out at the end of season 2.
Only just a little while.
And actually, we were going over that. I mean, really kind of, we've planned all the way through to the end of season 2 as far as, and so I believe we had it down. I think the date was December 12th.
Yeah,
the way we've worked it out, the last episode will drop December 12th.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So that means by the time that's done, depending on how it's all gone, this, the Edmund saga of Essence House, I would probably, the Edmund saga is kind of the way to go with this one.
Yeah.
It would be done by the end of the year.
Yep.
I guess this might be jumping very far ahead, but in the others, and if you do move on, because I know you're kind of maybe going to do a third season, kind of seeing how things go, but would we like be introduced to a different family in this universe? Or would it end the Edmund saga?
That's all kind of up in the air right now. I think me and Chuck probably have, we kind of are keeping our own thoughts on that right now. We haven't really talked about it. So I have like a list of a few different ideas of where we could go, and we'll pretty much powwow on that during season 2.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I would imagine, because right now we have it planned. The next 7's written and done. So we have 8, 9, and 10 planned out. I'm working on 8. He's working on 9. We actually, it was funny. We were having this discussion where I'm doing 8, he's doing 9, and then neither of us talked about 10. So who was going to write it? It just didn't come up. And we finally talked about it, and we were both just like, I want to write it, but I also don't want to write it. Like, I don't want to. And so I think it's going to be the first time in a long time where, the first, I think 2 or 3 episodes we collaborated on a fair amount. We each did little parts. And I think 10 will be the first one where we both go, cool. I think we've kind of decided we're basically going to do like a, what kind of race is that?
Relay.
Yeah. So we're just going to do one of those and just like, okay, I got 1,000 words, go to town. Oh, cool. All right. Like, I get to play with that now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's accurate.
So I know each episode I like to at least talk a little, get a little bit into the process like we're talking about. So now that we've gotten, more about a little over half through the season, what have you guys like really enjoyed about this process, and what's been a big or the biggest problem?
I think as we've gotten to parts where we've been revealing bigger things, I think it's been a lot of fun, like surprising each other with different scenes. I think that we both probably agree on that.
Yeah. Yeah, the walking stick was so, you got to understand, I was surprised as much as you guys were. I didn't know it was coming, and so when I was like, yes, dude, that's so great. Like, I get to, it's our chance to enjoy it as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we've done that thing where we just kind of keep each other just in the dark enough where you're like, man, I'm going to write something in and we'll see what happens. And I don't think we've had to take anything out yet. I think that we both have a very good idea of the mentality of the other one and kind of the mentality of the show. Yeah. Because as much as we could bring in some really weird stuff, it all has to kind of fit the sort of the nuance and the feeling that we've given to the show. And so I think we both have that idea ingrained in our heads so well that, you know, if someone brings something up, you're like, yeah, man, that totally works. Like you got it. It makes sense. And so, yeah, he's absolutely right, man. For me, it was the walking stick that blew me away.
Is the walking stick made from part of like the house or something, or we're not gonna talk about it?
We're not gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
That is an interesting theory. That's all I'll give you.
That is my theory.
That's a good theory.
And I think you'll find out about that in season 2.
Season 2, there's a flashback to like an Edmund that like an ancestor of an Edmund chopping down a tree somewhere and turning it into like for wood. And they're like, oh, I got this extra. I'll make a walking stick. And then
who's
I
writing?
think it's him and George Washington and a cherry tree or something.
yeah, exactly. And then a witch comes and like blesses the tree or something.
The witch was from Roanoke, but I mean that's another thing. We'll talk about that later.
You guys gonna, and then all of a sudden Roanoke's a part of this, and and I'm like, what the heck is going on?
It turns out Essence House is all a part of Brigadoon. No one Brigadoon? No one?
Oh, nope, don't even know what that is.
Oh, okay.
Share me a link.
Brigadoon is it's not even a real thing. It was a play, and it's about a city that appears and reappears in time.
Oh, how come I've never heard of that?
I don't know.
Sounds like something I would have heard of. Sounds strange.
Brigadoon is a musical with a book and lyrics by whoever, doesn't matter. It features 2 American tourists who stumble upon Brigadoon, a mysterious Scottish village that appears for only one day a year every 100 years.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's an American. So like that town has only appeared like twice. Like it's not America's not.
No. It's 2 American tourists who stumble upon the Scottish village.
Okay, they're
yeah.
That's so.
I was like, they're in America. That couldn't have go back too far. They've showed up twice now.
Yeah, right.
There's a movie. There was a movie.
Yeah, 1966 and 1954.
Are other members of the Edmund family able to time travel, or is this like exclusive to like Tristan, Tim, and maybe Elise?
I mean, I guess so far we know that Tristan, Tim, Elise, their grandfather, and Rick have all, and probably their aunt, have all time traveled. So there's not much reason that it's very exclusive.
Yeah, well, and the grandkids.
Yeah, that's right. The grandkids.
Yeah,
I mean, Elisa said that she did it for her kids. So yeah, I think it's somehow the whole family's able to do it.
Yeah, because I was gonna say so, but they can't take other people. So does it have to do with the DNA?
Have we said that though?
I don't think we said that.
You haven't said that, but I haven't seen anybody yet.
There's only been so much time travel so far, though.
So
it's not really like a big time hopping story.
It's
really,
fine.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I think that's what I love about this is that time travel is just a fun little device that we have in here, but it's not like the main thing. The main thing is the family and the mystery and all that kind of stuff. But we're not trying to solve the world's problems and everything. We threw something cool in and thought, let's play with this.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. We can go back to this statement. I can't help but feel there's something sinister afoot. I think this is from Suzanne.
I think that's pretty much been accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
I mean, I think that there definitely seems to be something sinister about Uncle Rick. He's definitely hiding things, and he's banned them from the property now. He's trying to find the walking stick. He's the one that tore down the house. So you could that seems sinister.
yes,
and you know what? Let's go to Barnabas for like 2 seconds.
yes.
Barnabas obviously knew something was going on in episode 1, and what a dick move that he would wait all the way until episode 7 to finally actually say, oh yeah, by the way, guys. So what's going on there? What is that old man hiding?
Yeah.
And why?
And I
I
mean,
wish I could tell you, Chuck, but I don't know.
you got hiding information from Tim and Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so sinister probably could be described with a lot of people.
Yeah.
There was a time when Tristan seemed a little sinister.
That's true too in the beginning.
After that,
Well, and even Elise, her, we knew that something was going on with her, and yet, her motives seemed a little suspect as well. So,
and now we got
a lot of it really is just that. What's that?
Jessica with Rick now.
Yeah, and then what's going on with that? There's.
That's the thing about mystery, man. If you're hiding something, then it feels sinister, regardless of your motives.
Yeah.
It feels sinister. So there's a lot of that going around from pretty much anyone. Like, who's the only one who's not really hiding anything? Tim.
Yeah.
He's just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, even like Tristan right now, he's kind of hiding stuff about Jessica.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wow. It's just there's so much going on now. It's like I'm just so excited to see what's happening next. I think in this time, because people have extra time, we need to all do. We were supposed to do it this time. I think we were supposed to go back all the way and come back and listen.
Oh yeah.
Next week on next week's episode or next.
Let's not make any promises, but
we'll try. I'm going to try because it'll be fun to go back to episode 1 now, especially if you've gotten to this point and kind of go back and like catch what you missed.
Yeah.
I was telling Eric, my mom, she's not even caught up because every time she watches an episode, she goes back because she knows she missed something.
So it's like 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
She's listened to one at least 4 times because she listened to it the first time and wasn't really listening that well. And then she listened to it again, and then she listened to 2, and then she went back to 1. And I was like, "Can you just get on to 3, woman? Like, I'll actually be able to talk about what the show is about." Like, that was the thing. Eric and I couldn't even mention the word time travel until episode 3.
Yeah.
So I'm like, woman, just get to 3, all right? Then we can start talking.
You're the one that tells some stuff, man. But really, last time when like blew my mind when you guys are like, time is of the essence, and I'm like, dang it, that blew me. And then all the clocks, and then I was like, it was right there all the time, and I'm just like, what is this about? Is it about the house? What's about the house? House.
I love that Eric was a dick, and the first thing he literally wrote was, "It's about time." Like, it's the first words in the show. It's about time. Like, he slapped you in the face and said, "Hey, guess what?"
Right over.
And
right.
I was worried. I think I told him this, but I was worried from the beginning. I'm like, we're giving it away, man. We're giving it away right away. But no, so many people are like,
on our promo piece the month before, I had at the top it said, "It's about time for something new from Eric."
I thought you were being like, just like this is Eric's marketing. It's time for a new project. Here we go. Like
Chuck was like, "Let's remove that."
Yeah, no, take that one. It's too much.
Then we sat for like 3 hours trying to figure out what to replace it with.
Well, and that's the funny thing. Writing the episodes has been easy. You sit down and it flows wonderfully, and it feels great. Once you're actually once you start typing, it comes out nice. It's getting to the point where you start typing and trying to describe it, especially early on.
Mm-hmm.
Now what I do is so the other day, I was hanging out with some friends and they were like, "Yeah, so what is this thing?" So I started talking to them about, I basically gave them everything up to episode 3. And obviously not hitting, everything, but the major stuff. And they were excited. They were like, "Oh yeah, man, we got to check that out. That sounds really cool. Sounds like a lot of fun." I was like, "Oh yeah, man, you get to see New York in the 90s." And they're like, "Oh, this sounds like so much fun." And so, I couldn't have done that back then.
Yeah, right. Like you could like in the beginning, I was like, I don't know, man. Like it's just the guys at he's like a maintenance guy. He's just walking around. Is anything gonna happen? What is this about?
So we have one friend that messaged me after he listened. He read. He was one of the people that we sent the original scripts to, and he messaged me a couple days later, and he said, "It's about time travel, isn't it?"
Who was that?
That was Joseph.
Oh, what? Oh, I know you never told me that.
Did you do that? Yeah.
No. Oh, that's great.
Figured it out right away.
That's good.
I mean, in all honesty, we laid it on pretty thick.
Yeah.
Laid it on thick. I wasn't looking for it. I was like, what's? I was
Nobody
like,
really
you know
was.
what? It's like it's a hard reality. Like they're just going like this is a drama. It's just gonna be flat. It's gonna be straight. And then I was like, it's not. There's weird stuff happening.
Yep.
But yeah, nope. I missed the time travel. I didn't catch any of the hints. Boo, Jess.
Were there any other questions or anything from way back when?
Back when time traveling. Well, we a lot of the questions are very time travel-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, have they gone back in time? Have they gone forward in time? Is it stuck in time? So people were getting the time thing.
Yep.
And then the other question, I see a couple things popping up that are similar in here is like people are like, oh, well, why is Rick hiding everything from everybody, you know? And that was from the beginning.
And that we'll be finding out. Probably that's episode 9.
9. Will we go back to the strip mall and
yeah.
okay.
Like they leave for that basically I guess that's next episode, so maybe that's a spoiler, but it starts out with them on the road back to New York. I think that's okay to say, right, Chuck?
I think that, yeah, that's totally okay.
I hope, I don't think there was any there's no plot information in there, so I think I'm good.
No.
So that's all the questions. We've talked a little bit about episode 7. You guys want to say when the next episode drops?
Yeah, you want to tease the next episode, Chuck?
Ooh, I do. Oh, okay. So episode 7 is coming out next week. Honestly, Barnabas, baby. That's what it's all about. It's about Barnabas. People have been saying it from the who the heck is that guy? What's up with him?
I love
episode 7, man. It's Barnabas, and that, I mean, you know what? Honestly, for any diehard fans, anyone who's been watching this all along, that should be enough to get you going.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I want to thank everybody for watching, and they can catch Essence House on all podcast platforms, basically.
Yeah, share it with your friends.
Share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Listen to it while you're at home.
Talk
Binge
about it with your weirdest friends.
Yeah.
Unless they're us.
Yeah, and then we've already
friends.
But you can tell us, talk to us about it.
Don't you dare talk to me about this show.
Yeah, don't talk to me about this garbage. Everybody all day long. Talk to me about it.
But we also want to invite people to, if they have questions about the episode or comments, to, always put them in the description or in the comment section, and we can bring them into the next episode and discuss them.
Yep. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you so much for watching.
Have a good one, guys.